What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chaotic Minds. As always, it's Winged.
And the midget.
And welcome back. It is early in the morning. I am super flipping tired.
Sorry we didn't record yesterday.
I just got done working a 12-hour shift.
Yeah.
And I am tired. But we gotta...
We're trying to keep on.
We said that we were going to keep on for this year. So... we're going to keep on for this year. And if I remember correctly, and I'm going to have to check it, so just bear with me here for a second.
Oh.
We are coming up extremely close
to
hitting our 50th episode.
Yeah.
We are actually, this is our 50th episode.
Woohoo!
We made it to 50.
Nice.
It took us a while, especially with those first couple of years of us doing it. But we finally...
Learn and grow.
We finally did it.
Learn and grow.
So happy 50th.
Yay!
With this 50th episode, there is a bit of bad news that I'm going to start off with.
Okay.
The bad news being, after I don't know how many years... because I don't follow the magazine or I don't do anything like that with it. Sports Illustrated is done.
That's still weird.
They closed the doors.
So weird.
And they are no longer going to be in print or anywhere ever.
That swimsuit edition, man. I'm going to be missing that.
Well, the main reason why is because the parent company to Sports Illustrated, Sports Illustrated did not pay them, I guess, their dues or something that they were owed, like $2.8 million.
Okay. And
so the parent company's like, okay, well, you missed this payment. We're shutting everything down. Everybody needs to find a new job.
See, on one side, I can understand. On the other side, that kind of sucks for all those people.
Oh, yeah. Especially like the people, just like the writers and the photographers who had no idea this was coming to wake up, or
they probably had no idea that there was a payment to be made.
Yeah, because they're not in charge of that. Why would they care about that? But yeah, unfortunately, Sports Illustrated is no longer going to be around unless something happens and they make their own company, which honestly,
Elon Musk will probably bail him out. Let's face it, he has enough money.
Which honestly, I didn't know that Sports Illustrated had a parent company to begin with. I thought that was them.
I thought so too.
But apparently not.
Yeah. Well, desperate times.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of like all the stuff that happened with Toys R Us, where they
Toys
shut
R
down
Us and Babies R Us.
And then people were like, well, no, we want this store to stay around. They were raising money. People who were in Toys R Us are like, well, there is this surge of support, let's try to reopen it. They tried pitching it to a couple people. There was some serious offers that were made, but inevitably fell through. And that's why Toys R Us is still not back yet.
Payless Shoes is another one.
I could care less about Payless.
Payless Shoes was the shit when I was a kid.
I could care less about Payless. I'm just going to say that. Because growing up, my grandmother, my nonna, used to work, before I was born, used to work for Converse. So every year when we go up to go see them, we would make a trip up to Maine, I believe Kittery, Maine, or wherever because there's a huge warehouse,
huge
store or whatever.
Okay.
And you could buy Converse, and because she worked there, she always got a discount, so we'd always have a fresh pair of Chuck Taylors every year. I stopped being able to wear them when I realized that my feet were wide, even though I was a small, skinny young man at the time.
You had Flintstone feet.
I had wide feet, and I could no longer fit in Converse because they didn't make any wide shoes.
Yeah.
And I would get blisters and all that kind of crap on my feet, so I stopped wearing them.
Yeah.
If I could own a pair of Chuck Taylors today, maybe, but I'm not too concerned about it. Yeah. I like my boots.
You live in those things.
I do.
But I mean, back to it. It's like it's happening more and more with larger and larger companies.
Yeah.
I mean, Sports Illustrated is world renowned. I mean, they have everything from their normal monthly editions to the Swimsuit Illustrated, the special edition once a year. They had one around the time of Olympics that was a special edition. They had some around like the time of Miss America, Miss Universe, and stuff like that.
They talked, like, the whole purpose of the magazine was to talk everything sports. So every sport. I mean, I looked through one when I was younger, and I saw it was talking about cricket. I'm like, what in the hell is cricket?
Yeah.
I still don't understand what fucking cricket is.
I don't either, but
just like I understand rugby.
British baseball.
I understand rugby is a little bit, it's a more advanced and aggressive form of football. That's about all I understand. I did see, however, a Major League Baseball player go and play cricket and sent almost every cricket ball bowled at him, which is the actual term for it.
Yeah.
Out of the park.
Yeah.
Almost every single one. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
But the thing is, it's like I said, it's happening to more and more larger companies. And I mean, it's strange how a lot of the stores and companies that we used to go through and shop at when we were younger aren't around anymore.
We didn't go to Payless. We may have went to Payless like 2 or 3 times, but for the most part, like, we used to go to, like, there was a place back home called Hills that used to be open, which was like a pre-Walmart. But we would go to like Hills or Kmart, and then Walmart opened up, and we're just like, cool, we can buy shoes here? Dope. And we just get shoes from there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's strange because, I mean, even grocery stores, like...
I will say this. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I will say this. My mom did work at Foot Locker for a bit, so there was a point in time where we were going to Foot Locker. My mom would get a discount, but she'd tell us to get not like the Jordans or, whatever.
Not the most expensive pairs in the store.
Yeah, she's like, what do y'all have that's like at this budget? And like, well, we got this. She's like, cool, I'll take a pair of this, a pair in this size, and a pair in this size. Here's my discount. And we would but that'd be, like I said, once a year.
Yeah. Right
around the beginning of school. So my parents had like a year to save up.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but
sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it even goes through grocery stores. I mean, one of the big ones that was around pretty much everywhere when I was younger was Albertsons. And you don't find them anymore. I don't even know if they're even in business.
I don't know what that place is.
It's like King Soopers, but a little more expensive.
Oh.
But they have higher quality. They had higher quality foods.
Oh, so it's like a Whole Foods.
And no, they didn't have a whole lot of organic. It was still the same bad crap. It's just
higher quality bad crap.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So another one. It was mostly out this side of the Mississippi. Was Cub Foods.
Never heard of that.
It was, think of rock bottom Walmart prices.
Okay.
Save a Lot. The grocery store Save a Lot out
No.
here. It's like discounted stuff.
Okay.
Or imperfect stuff.
Okay.
Like stuff that doesn't meet the high standards of bigger grocery stores. Well, Cub Foods was kind of like Sam's Club, Costco, but cheap.
Oh.
And we used to go there all the time. And it's like that went out of business a decade ago, and a half ago.
The main stores that I know of, like grocery stores, Giant, which is back home, Weiss, which is back home, Aldi, which is everywhere,
Piggly Wiggly,
King Soopers,
Kroger is King Soopers,
and Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
And that was because I live down in South Carolina. And I've gone into one, and it's like weird.
It is.
Like,
but
weird.
But that goes to show that nobody's immune from bills.
Well, a lot of that also, like, I think a lot of the problem that is happening to most of these companies is they're seeing these offshoots or these branch offices or whatnot, and they're not performing, and they're not making us X amount of dollars, so why should we continue to keep their lights on and their
Keep
doors
that location
open? Yada,
open,
yada,
yeah.
yada. It's like, because there's still employees there that are doing their damnedest to.
And they're still making you money. Might not be as much as you want, but
Every little bit. Every
it's
fucking
like
little bit.
Kmart too.
Fuck Kmart.
Kmart, man,
I
that
have
was
a-
my
I-
first job.
I have
Don't knock
opinions
Kmart.
about I have opinions about Kmart.
I do too, and I used to
fuck
work
Kmart.
there.
Fuck Kmart.
But no, that was my first job, and they're not even around anymore. Sears is another one.
Well,
Sears and Kmart were owned by the same company, but Kmart went first.
Well, that's because Sears sucked too. I hated Sears. I hated Sears. I hated Penny's.
God, JCPenney.
I hated Kmart for reasons.
Yeah.
I liked Hills. Hills was nice. Mainly, I think the main reason why I liked Hills.
Which is the grocery store? What's the grocery store that me and your mom went to when we were out at the when we went out on vacation? Just
was it right around the corner? Was it close to the house?
yes.
Weiss.
Okay.
Weis.
Yeah, that
Weiss.
place was dope.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that place.
That place.
I wish we could have one of those out here.
I worked at that place.
That place is awesome.
I worked in the bakery, where I was packaging products. I'm not going any further than that. It was a certain type of rich chocolate.
He was a fudge packer.
Well, that, and then when Easter rolled around, I was actually one of the ones. I was the main one who was making. So they used to take, I don't know if they still do, but like around Easter they would sell eggs,
Okay.
peanut butter, chocolate eggs.
Okay. So basically Reese's eggs,
Oh no, these.
but homemade.
So like think of a chunk, like a wad of peanut butter, right? And you shape it into an egg, and we're talking ones that are about my hand size, right?
Okay. I like where this is going.
And then you dip it and coat it in milk chocolate or dark chocolate or death for you, white chocolate.
That sucks being
And then
allergic
you'd
to
put
white
them in a
chocolate, by the way.
clamshell, and you'd move on to the next one.
I would get so tired of chocolate.
I got so tired of peanut butter because even with 2 pair of disposable gloves on,
Your hands still smell like
my
peanut butter.
hands still smelled like
Uh-huh.
peanut oil. And then I went from there, and I would walk to my second job, which was at my favorite restaurant that is no longer open, Galifty's.
Which sucks because the couple times I've been there, it was awesome.
Oh yeah, they had an amazing chicken wedgie.
Yeah, you had me try that the first time we were out there.
It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That was my go-to. I'd be at work.
We totally have to ask Eebs or somebody for the recipe.
I would go to work. I would work. I'd get off. I'd go over to the bar, and the bartender, most times it was Joanne, would see me come over. I'd have 2 Miller Lights sitting in front of me and a chicken wedgie ordered, and I wouldn't even have to say anything. There was a few times that they're like, chicken wedgie? Yeah. I'm like, actually, not tonight. And they'd look at me and like, what?
Yeah.
And I get like a bowl of lobster bisque. And then like 2 hours later, I'm like, all right, give me that chicken wedgie.
No, what was funny is, I mean, even
So
after all the years you had been out here already, when we went back on vacation,
I
we
didn't need to
walked
say
in,
anything.
and they're like, "Hey, chicken wedgie." What?
Yeah. And what was my response?
Yeah.
Please.
And I mean, it's just,
And they had 2 Miller Lights sitting right there.
yeah. That was one of the best margaritas I ever had too.
Oh yeah, they used like
Like
love
you
this
couldn't even
bartender.
tell that there was
Until you
a
went
lot
to
of
go stand
alcohol.
oh, Joanne makes a mean Alabama Slammer.
Yeah.
Like that shit tastes like fruit punch
I miss JoJo.
until you go ahead and you go to walk and you realize that you're tipping or you're walking askew because the world's a
Lean
little
back.
off.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, hey.
I miss JoJo.
I miss JoJo. Anyways,
We got to get her out here on
and
vacation.
we got
Bunny trail.
Yeah, a lot of these. What I think a lot of these companies, like, why they're closing down some of these branch locations is because they're not making this or they're not up to par on this, and instead of sending people out to be like, hey, let's fix this, they just nope, we're going to shut it down. I mean, there's been a bunch of like game studios even that they're like, well, we have to
Yeah.
close our doors because our parent company, Activision.
Yeah.
Um,
Activision.
they're like, we can't afford to keep doing this. That's why I'm like, I am so glad that Bungie split from Activision because,
Yeah.
granted, are the seasons in Destiny is everything in Destiny amazing? No, no,
Not by a long shot.
no. The stories are the story beats, and the overall story, for per season is awesome. Sometimes they're a little lackluster, especially during some of their like
Oh, sorry.
midweek
Don't mean to
thing,
interrupt. I got one too.
midweek thing, where it's like, hey, you're like 4 weeks into this 8-week story. We were, and it's like that lull in like a TV series that you're watching, right?
Like the mid-season break.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's annoying.
but the last couple of seasons have been like really on point and like leading to this overarching end
Yeah.
story to this first saga that they've gone through.
And that's the amazing thing is they went from being a company
That just did Halo.
that just did Halo to
No.
when they split from
Sorry.
Activision.
I almost forgot. They didn't just do Halo. I almost forgot. They did one of my favorite fucking games,
What?
Oni.
Oh, okay.
That was done by Bungie.
See, and
How
the
did I
thing is-
almost forget that?
And the thing is like
They need to bring that game.
it's
They
like
need to redo
they
that game.
went from a few years ago when they were still with Activision being like, let's use Destiny as an example. They were
Okay.
losing a lot of their players
Oh yeah.
because they were getting tired of the BS. Like things were bugged all the time, weren't getting fixed.
well,
in a
no.
timely manner.
So I will say this: when they were with Activision, they didn't have as many bugs. And they didn't have they didn't push back. They didn't like go do like a server reset time, and then they're like, oh yeah, it should be done by 11. Oh, by the way, we have to push it back an hour. Oh, hey, by the way, we have to push it back an hour. Oh, hey, by the way, we got to wait until tomorrow before anybody can log in because their servers went down.
But the thing is the bugs that they did have, they didn't fix in a timely manner.
Well, even no, with Activision, they did.
And then they nerfed a bunch of shit.
The problem with Activision, and when Bungie was partnered up with them, is the content.
Yeah.
The content wasn't great.
And that's the thing.
For example, one of the worst seasons and worst expansions that they came out with was Warmind.
I
With
did not like
Osiris.
it. I did not like Warmind. It was boring.
I liked the. I don't know if it was actually Warmind. I'll have to talk to Undead about it.
I don't know. All I know is Warmind was boring to me.
The first season after Destiny 2 came out sucked. Or the first expansion after Destiny 2 came out sucked. The second expansion after Destiny 2 came out wasn't great, but they were working on it. Anything after Witch Queen? No.
Really? Anything after that second expansion?
Anything after the third expansion? The third expansion is when they announced their split from Activision. So
Is that
Beyond
Taken
Light,
King?
That was Destiny 1.
Wow.
So Beyond Light, I think Beyond Light, no, the Scarlet Keep was the first season, and then Beyond Light. The Scarlet Keep was the first expansion that Bungie did by themselves. So it went Beyond Light, the Scarlet Keep, then Beyond Light, and anything after that is just Bungie.
And that's the thing is like
And the
since they
quality
split,
went up.
they're not only putting out better product, better storylines, better graphics, better everything,
Well, except for the rampant cheating that's been going on.
but
the bugs that are there, and
yeah.
the push, the weekly. Hey, are we going to be able to play at this weekly reset, or are we going to have to wait?
No, see, the thing is, but since they split from Activision, the storyline and the things that people were getting pissed off about have gotten so much better that they're starting to get more activity.
Yeah.
And I mean, that can attribute to server issues right there.
Well, I mean, yes and no. But we again
Okay.
straying off.
Anyway,
But there's been a lot of like these game studios that have been like, well, we have this branch out in Vancouver. We have to shut it down because they're not making money. Now, I could see if like a branch or something was hemorrhaging money. Like there was money
they're
going
paying
into
out.
it.
They're paying out more to their employees than they're making.
That I can understand. But
Yeah.
like with some of these companies, it's Sports Illustrated being one of them, it doesn't make sense.
Because another one of those that doesn't make sense, and that's the idea that popped into my head, and I was like, ooh, sorry for interrupting, is a bank. Banks aren't immune to it either. There is a bank.
Yes and no.
There is a bank called Norwest Bank.
Okay.
It was the first account I ever had was when I was a kid. It was meant for a savings thing for when I was babysitting and yada yada, starting when I was like 10. But they started doing so poorly and mismanaging money and mishandling big accounts.
Well, that's different.
And all that you know who they got bought out by?
J.P. Morgan.
No.
No idea then.
Wells Fargo.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's like,
So that's different.
and then they changed things and improved things. And so, yeah, it may not be under the same name. And what they did differently, which I can say is awesome, and if they were to do this with Sports Illustrated, that'd be kind of awesome for the workers, is if they're going to rebrand it and restart it, they need to hire those people back.
Oh yeah.
And that's what Wells Fargo did when Norwest Bank shut down. They retrained everybody in the Wells Fargo way. They got them used to the new systems, got them used to the training tools and the management style, and they kept around most of the employees.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's people that have been with Wells Fargo. God, it's been 20 years since I've seen a Norwest Bank, and one of their biggest locations, their staple location here in Colorado, used to be what is now called Belmar. It used to be called Villa Italia Mall. It was a location right in the mall parking lot because the mall did not have ATMs.
Okay.
And some of the stores only accepted cash.
Ah.
So they were making money hand over fist, but it was being mismanaged.
I can't say much. My first bank account was actually with a credit union that my parents were a part of.
Yeah. I remember that when you came out here.
No. When I came out here, no, I did have it when I came out here.
Yeah. Because your mom
No.
your mom couldn't transfer money into it.
No. I did not. I wasn't with the credit union anymore when I first came out here. I was with another bank that was only in Pennsylvania. And that's how my mom was able to put money into it, was because she'd go to the branch and just make a deposit. When I came out here, I opened up a Chase account.
But anyway, I really can't think of a whole lot else on that one.
I'm
Yeah.
Bob.
But yeah, seriously, Sports Illustrated,
Yes.
that's one of those companies that I thought would be around forever.
Yep.
Kind of like Playboy.
Well, we're not going there.
People like their porn too much to shut that down.
That is where I wasn't going to go, but sure, you can go there.
Okay.
I don't care. Who the fuck cares about what I have to say?
So the funny story that I wanted to talk about,
Okay.
and it's something that, you and I have talked about, is children acting like animals in school. We had to break one of our children of the habit of acting like an animal.
Correction.
You broke him, but
Thank you.
I noticed that it was bad, and I started correcting him as well.
After.
I know, but the thing is,
You're welcome.
this
So,
Oklahoma.
for backstory, our middle child, nicknamed Fish, used to act like animals all the time, and
Yeah.
then, it was cute when he was little, and then he
But
turned,
not-
7, 8 years old, and was like, okay, dude, you need to stop, and then he
Yeah.
kept going till he was, 9, and I'm like, all right, I'm putting my foot down. Since nobody else is doing it, everybody else is encouraging it, I'm not doing this anymore.
So-
And I flat out told you, I'm like, if you don't stop this, he is going to be shunted. And it took you a minute, but then you saw like, oh shit, you're right. And so you started putting a crackdown on it, had a talk with the other people involved. One had a very much of a pushback. And finally got to a point where I guess, he was just like, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
And he stopped. He has moments,
Yeah.
but they are
Very
few
few
and far between.
So the headline reads, students dressed as furries could be collected by animal control if new Oklahoma bill passes. I have
What?
the most utmost respect for this representative in Oklahoma.
What?
He is like the Banff of the day for me.
What?
Oklahoma Representative Justin Humphrey says his bill is a bit sarcastic, but he's making a point. If one Oklahoma representative gets his way, children who act like dogs and cats during school hours could be punished by, you guessed it, animal control. Yes, parents might soon have to collect their erstwhile kids from the pound if Representative Justin Humphrey's bill makes it to the finish line as it stands today.
What?
That is, of course, if kids acting like animals at school is really that widespread a problem, which is up for debate. Humphrey's bill, which was filed Wednesday, seeks out to put in place a law where students who purport to be an imaginary animal or animal species or who engage in anthropomorphic behavior, sorry, my brain is fried, commonly known as furries, at school shall not be allowed to participate in school. The parent or guardian of a student in violation of this section shall pick the student up from school, or animal control services shall be contacted to remove the student. Basically, there's a huge problem with students in high school, middle schools, high schools, elementary schools, all over the U.S., acting like animals or dressing up as animals, cat ears, furry tails, the whole nine yards.
Wait, hang on.
And in furry suits.
Hang on. First off, what?
Yeah, I know.
Second off, is it really that widespread?
Yes. There are students.
For fuck's sake.
There are students even at our son's school that act like furries.
Okay, so like, when I was in high school, yeah, we had a couple people that were like, this is my pack, you know, but
they didn't dress as wolves or dogs.
No, they didn't, but like, they were like, this is my pack, and I'm the leader of the pack. You know, there were a few occasions where, you know, they would fight over who was the leader. You know, acting like animals, or you know, wolves or stuff, whatever. How they thought wolves acted. Yes, they used alpha, which is fucking, anyways,
retarded. Anyway,
we don't use that word here. Stupid. We can use stupid. And there was this one clip that went viral about the guy who was like, in all manners or meanings other than physical, I am a wolf, and he would like bark and growl and whatnot. And
yeah.
There's even, like, I've even heard of some people that, you know, they thought they were werewolves and they would go around biting, you know, each other.
See,
and stuff
it goes
like
even
that.
further than that.
But, like, what?
When I was growing up, furries were known as a grown-ass adult who dressed up as furry characters to dry hump other furry characters.
I mean, it
was a sexual
That's called yiffing.
kink.
That is called yiffing.
And why would you know this?
Because I've talked to a few.
But that's the thing.
I've had a conversation
is
with them.
now it's
Here's
spreading.
Here's the thing about those people who enjoy that part. It is a small section of a larger group that enjoys that. But because people found out about it and it was humorous or perverted to some stuck-up white bitch, they made a big deal about it, and oh my god, be careful of the furries, and now they're a meme. You know, now they're a joke. But I've
now
sat down and I've talked to a couple of furries, and it's just like, why do you do this? And they're like, well,
it's an escape.
It's an escape. We enjoy it. It's something that we enjoy. And they actually counter with a very good point. How is what we do when we dress up in our fursonas any different than anyone going to a Comic-Con
And cosplaying.
dressed up as one of their favorite characters and cosplay?
Exactly. And that's the thing is I think one of the things that's happening is cosplay is so widespread now that there are a lot more cosplayers now than when I was younger.
Yeah.
But like people are giving these children so many freedoms and they're not stopping it at the door. They're allowing their children to go out of the house looking like this.
Well, God forbid you actually tell any of these kids, like, hey, you can't do something. Well, you can't tell me what to do, and they fucking leave anyways.
And that's the thing, is like people.
Like, I remember I was told by my parents that I was not allowed to wear a pair of light red pants because I wanted to prove a point. And so they told me that, and I went to,
For those who don't know, light red is pink.
Light red.
Pink.
Light red. Anyways, you get light red for mixing white and red. What do you get when you mix white and blue? What do you mix when you get white and green? Why is this any fucking different? Anyways, this is a long argument that I always have with people.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I went ahead and I found myself a pair of light red pants, stuck them on my backpack. The second I got to school, I changed out of my jeans that I had and put on these light red pants, and I walked around all day with a pair of light red pants on. And guess how many fucks I gave that everybody was being like, why are you, that's dumb. How's this any different than wearing a light red shirt? I gave 0 fucks.
And to continue, it says, Humphrey was telling Rolling Stone that he was inspired to write the bill after hearing several reports of students disrupting school while engaging in animal-like behavior.
That's that right there.
He cites 2 such alleged incidents in which a grandchild of a friend took to crawling down the hallway while wearing a leash, and another where a student distracted classmates by meowing like a cat while dressed with cat ears and a tail.
Again, I can understand that.
And that's the thing, is like, I completely agree with that. Like, he says he's heard reports. No. There's a reason.
Hang on.
Humphrey says he's heard reports of such incidents, but did not cite a specific incident. Why are we going to bring a litter box and put it in a room? They're actually talking about putting litter boxes in the bathrooms of these schools to placate these kids.
I know.
No, you are a human being. Stand up and pee like a boy, or sit down and pee. I don't care.
I sit down and pee.
It's easier. But
there's less of a chance I'm going to piss on the back of the toilet.
And it's like, people are saying, oh, they're just being artistic. No, they're not being artistic.
There's another word for that, but replace the R with another letter, with a vowel, and that's what... We're not going there. I'm going to stop there.
But the thing is like... why are people allowing their children to go to school dressed as furries or act like animals? I mean, at least when Matthias Fish was acting like an animal, it was at home. It wasn't at school.
That we were aware of.
No, because I even asked the teachers, does he act like this at school? And they're like, no, he doesn't.
Okay. Here's the thing. I'm torn. Because on one hand, sure, you want to act like an animal, fine. We're going to treat you like one. And this is the same argument and same conversation that I had with you and the same one that I had with Fish. If you want to act like an animal, cool. I'll treat you like an animal. You're not allowed up on the furniture. You cannot use forks and knives. You have to eat off of the floor, or have a plate put out for you or a bowl put out for you on the floor, and you have to figure out a way to consume your food. You're not going to be allowed to be up on beds or whatnot. You're going to have to sleep on the floor. We'll put some blankets and pillows down and make you a little,
nest.
Yeah, and that's where you can be, and I will treat you like an animal. If they want to act like animals, fine, let's treat them like them. However, that being said, freedom of expression is a thing, and these kids are expressing themselves in a way that they wanted to. In Japan, there's this.
Yes, but they're also disrupting
That's where
education.
I have the thing.
They can act like that out of school all they want, but
However,
inside school they need to stop.
In Japan, there's an actual term for it, and I can't pronounce it, but it translates to 8th grader complex, where they'll act like, oh, I'm not just a regular person. I'm actually the son of the dark god, and I have been forced into this mortal form, and you don't know my actual power. And,
It's like an anime complex.
It really is. There's a lot of anime that deal with that, but it comes from a real life thing.
Yeah.
It's similar to that.
Yeah.
They get looked at, they get mocked, they get picked on, and they either resist it and continue it on until they have this realization that I'm an idiot. They resist it, continue on for their entire life, or they realize, what the fuck am I doing? And they stop.
Because the other thing that's on that they're looking at with this is treating it like a mental illness.
Yeah, I can see that. Although I will say that there was another bill. That bill reminds me of another one that was done, and I want to say like the 70s or the 80s. I can't remember exactly when. But there was a bill, there was something being gerrymandered in Congress. And it was going on for days. And finally, one of the senators was like, okay, since we're taking so long to decide this, while we are deliberating, I'm going to introduce a bill to give a gold medal, or to give a medal to this person. I can't remember the name, for population control. It was a serial killer.
Yeah.
That he was like, I want to give this medal to this person for population control. Within 10 hours,
Yeah.
not only was that bill rejected, but the gerrymandered bill passed.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like,
that's what this shit reminds me of.
yes, but the thing is like, what do you do about this? Because whereas, yeah, whatever floats your boat, dude. Okay, whatever you want to express, your freedom of expression is your freedom of expression. That's part of living in the U.S. You have that right.
Yeah.
But when do the other parents step in and say, "Hey"?
When do you draw the line? And that line gets drawn
when they're
when
disruptive. And that's the thing is, if they're not disruptive, cool. Wear your cat ears in your tail all day. I don't give a flying fuck. But if you're going to be disrupting a class by meowing at the teacher or walking down the hall on a leash,
that's a little much.
That's a bit much.
Now, like ending a sentence in "nya," which is
right meow
or right meow, but
that's just being funny.
NYA, "nya," is actually how some people do it. And it's, again, goes back to anime and cartoons. That's one thing. But like if a teacher asks you a question like, "Hey, what's 6 times 4?" Meow. What's 6 times meow? Are you gonna say anything? Meow. It's like, no, that's
being disruptive is a bit much.
Being disruptive is where I draw the line.
That's the point he's trying to make. Is you can express the way you want to. You have that freedom of expression.
I mean,
but being disruptive is where I draw the line.
You want to be expressive? Be a goth. You want to be expressive? Be a jock. You want to be expressive? Be a furry. I don't give a shit. Be a furry.
Be a cheerleader.
But
who cares?
Shut the fuck up.
Stop disrupting everybody else's education.
There you go.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Once again, I will end that with, "What?"
Exactly. Okay, so this one's a little more close to our heart because we do both drink energy drinks.
Okay.
We kind of survive on them.
Oh.
Ish.
I mean, you're not wrong. Well, no, you are wrong. Because I can go a day without having an energy drink. I am cranky as shit.
Yeah, I want to stab you in your face.
But
But
I
it's
make
doable.
it through. Yeah, I mean, there's coffee, there's tea.
I go
I
quite a few
typically
days.
I typically drink tea.
Anyway,
So
so
I ask you to bring some home.
this headline says athlete rushed to ER after drinking 2.5 servings of Panera's charged lemonade. So
I've actually heard another story
about
involving
this.
the same thing.
Yeah. It says 28-year-old obstacle course racer claimed she was rushed to the ER after suffering heart problems caused by a popular beverage from Panera that is said to contain as much caffeine as 3 cans of Red Bull. That's your first problem.
Well, Red Bull's disgusting.
Red Bull's great. Some of them. Anyway.
Oh, by the way, your Juneberry is now permanently added to the Red Bull collection.
Yeah, I know. Lauren Scarrett, a Smithfield, Rhode Island resident, became the third person to sue the restaurant chain over its charged lemonade after 2 others suffered fatal heart attacks, according to news reports. All 3 lawsuits were filed by plaintiffs represented by personal injury attorney Elizabeth Crawford. Scarrett alleged the complaint that she suffered an irregular heartbeat the day of consuming 2.5 servings of Panera Bread's charged lemonade that she brought from the chain's outpost in Greenville, Rhode Island on April 8th. Scarrett was rushed to the ER April 9th, where doctors diagnosed her with AFib, a heart condition where it can lead to stroke and other complications. Since that time, she has experienced recurrent episodes of rapid heartbeat that occur suddenly and without pattern. Lauren continues to experience a high heart rate with associated shortness of breath, palpitations, brain fog, difficulty thinking and concentrating, body shakes, and weakness. Scarrett and her husband have put off plans to have a child due to the fact that she will have high-risk pregnancy and may have complications during that. Panera Bread, the $5.8 billion chain, which boasts nearly 2,200 locations across the U.S., is incorporated in Delaware. A company spokesperson was not available for comment. So, and it goes on to tell another story about a 21-year-old University of PA student sued Panera, claiming the lemonade beverage was responsible for her fatal heart attack hours after she drank the caffeine-rich product.
Okay, so
they don't tell you how much caffeine is in it.
There's a lot of caffeine in it, and while the stories don't, it by national standards, by FDA standards, and advertising standards, they have to
make it readily available.
They have to display it.
See, and here's the thing, is
like I know how much caffeine is in a Monster. It's 160.
Yeah.
Comparatively, Red Bull has more.
No, actually, it doesn't.
Does it have 160?
It has 148.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Rockstar. Rockstar has more caffeine in it than Monster does.
And see, and the thing is the company said that it's an electrolyte sports drink containing a reasonable amount of caffeine that is safe to drink.
It is, for one.
Yeah, that girl that I'm talking about, the second girl, Sarah Katz, the 21-year-old, had a half of one.
She probably also had other medical issues.
But see, and that's the thing is like
they don't say that, do they?
They have it as part of the SIP Club, which they are urged to drink unlimited Panera charged lemonade every day.
Yeah.
They are encouraged to drink as many as they want because they're part of this drink club.
For most people, they would have reason to be like, and self-control to be like, oh, I had one. Cool. That's it. Like, I had half a kickstart. Or not even half a kickstart. I had like a quarter of a kickstart. And my heart started acting up. I started getting the sweats, and I started, I got kicked into high gear and, spun into a manic moment. And I stopped myself.
Holy
from
crap.
Finishing it.
Here's the third one in this story. It says, last month, the family of Dennis Brown, a 46-year-old resident of Florida, filed suit against Panera, alleging he died of cardiac arrest just hours after drinking the charged lemonade. According to Panera's menu, a large charged lemonade has 390 milligrams of caffeine, close to the FDA's 400 milligram daily maximum intake.
Yes.
Panera's 30-ounce charged lemonade contains more caffeine than both Red Bull and Monster energy drinks combined.
Yeah, and he probably had a cup of coffee because he's 46. He probably had either a cup of coffee or a Monster or something hours prior, and then decided that he was going to try this drink and exceeded his daily limit.
But it's just like, this is crazy. Like, I can understand, and this is where I'm going to agree with Canada. Holy crap. They started basically outlawing certain drinks if they have over a certain amount of caffeine in them.
Yeah, like Logan Paul and KSI's Drink Prime.
Mm-hmm.
It's not allowed in Canada.
Nope.
Not until they lower the caffeine content.
And they and people are taking to ordering
Black
it
market.
online and trying to cross the border with it, and you can actually get fined.
Yeah.
For bringing it into Canada.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even have the like their Gatorade, the Prime Gatorade stuff. You can't even have that.
Yeah.
Because they don't allow that company to be anywhere in Canada.
And that doesn't surprise me. I mean, here's the thing with caffeine. It is dangerous in large doses. Like, that shit will kick everything in you into high gear, and too much of it.
It'll kick your adrenaline into high gear as well, and that's what causes heart problems.
Becoming dependent upon it.
Yeah.
If you don't have it for one day.
It's like detoxing from drugs or alcohol.
Caffeine is a drug.
Mm-hmm. And that's the way they should market it.
However, I knew somebody who's very close to me who would go through 2 pots of coffee by himself. He would it was like we made the joke that he was mainlining it, and when he started,
my blood type is Pepsi, so I can't even.
When he started cutting back on coffee, he got the shakes, he got the shivers, he got the sweats, he
being
got
tired,
grumpy, you know, and then eventually he managed to, like, I think he only has like half a pot now. It's my dad.
Hi, Meg.
Love you, Dad. But like. It was bad for a while. I mean, it's the same thing with cigarettes. You don't have that nicotine, and you get irritable and get antsy. You can overdose on nicotine.
I mean, look at it. Look at it this way with nicotine. With us, we used to each go through at least a pack a day.
Yeah.
And there
was a point where I was going through a pack and a half, almost 2 packs.
And like, we started using our vapes, which have a way lower nicotine content. Yeah, because...
For the entire pack? Sure. Per cigarette? No.
But it's different. It actually metabolizes different.
Yeah.
Because it's metabolized into water vapor, which clears out of your system.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, we used to go through, like, say you went through 2 packs or just under 2 packs in one day, and I'd go through a full pack and maybe a couple more in one day. So altogether, we would be smoking 3 packs a day. Now, insanely, like, we have a pack that lasts us a week.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
And, like, I smoke one every few days now, like, when I absolutely have to. And... like,
granted, I smoke more than you.
I smoked one yesterday when our daughter and I went to breakfast and stuff, because some dude in the Walmart
was a dick,
grabbed my ass at the self-checkout.
Oh, that's something that you did not tell me.
And I'm just like, the fuck is your problem, dude? He goes, oh, I just thought you had a nice ass. I was like, that doesn't give you a right to walk up to some random stranger and fucking grab their ass. I was like, you're lucky I didn't fucking deck you. And he goes, oh, you're just being a bitch. You're just being a bitch. Somebody's paying you a compliment. And I'm like, and I'm like, dude, I don't have fucking time for you.
How about I walk up? How about when if I think you're attractive, I'm just gonna walk up and kick you in the balls.
I mean, seriously.
Let's see how heavy your balls are on my foot.
What gives you the right to just walk up and touch some random person? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Even the guy at self-checkout chuckled when he did it. And I'm like, I looked at him and I was like, really? I was like, that's funny to you? He goes, no, I didn't mean it like that. I thought you were going to turn around and swing. I was like, I almost did.
Yeah.
And then Haley walked up and she's like, I was like, all right, let's go. And so we stood outside and I was like, I need a cigarette. And she goes, what happened? You seem pissed. I was like, I am. Some dude decided to grab my ass at self-checkout. And she goes, really? And you didn't hit him?
I'm so proud of you.
Like, and then the dude walked out and he looked over at me. I was like, yeah, keep fucking walking. And Haley's just standing there like, that was him? Ew. Like, leave it to our daughter. But anyway, it's just like, I don't know. It bothers me.
The going back to the whole drink thing, right?
Yeah.
There should be some form of warning. Like, you can only have this much. Like,
there is. If you look on the side of energy drink cans, it
I'm
even
talking
gives you a
about the
big
Panera
ass
one.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about in general.
I'm talking about the Panera one. Okay? Because when you go to a bar, right, and they have this specialty beer on hand. Like, for example, there's one I've been talking to you about for years called Trogs Mad Elf. It is a microbrewery in Pennsylvania.
You can only have one.
You can only have a pint when you're at a bar, and then you're cut off for the rest of the night because of the high alcohol content.
And I mean, they need to have some sort of regulation on the caffeine.
They do.
And I mean, I hate to say it,
but they need to enforce it and be like, look, you can only have this much. If you've had something earlier in the day, do not have this. There is a chance of you dying.
Did you know that there are multiple states thinking about putting up a bill to regulate caffeine or energy drinks in particular, where if you are under the age of 18, you cannot buy them?
That would be a good idea.
That
kind of.
It would be.
Granted, I can't really say much because I had my first Monster when I was in high school.
But that's the thing, is like...
But I made the dumb mistake when I was in Mississippi that I went a couple of days just sucking down energy drinks.
And not drinking water.
And I passed out in class in front of people.
And that's the thing, is like, they need to regulate it like they do cigarettes, alcohol, other things. Because, like,
Well, then you run the risk. Here's the thing. If you were to go ahead and do it like that, then you run the risk of banning soda in general.
No, and that's not...
Because here's my reasoning. And here's how I can see them spinning it. Right?
Yeah.
Soda has caffeine in it.
Yeah.
Unless it is a caffeine-free soda.
Yeah.
It has caffeine in it. What's the difference between an energy drink, which has caffeine in it, and a soda that has caffeine in it?
Because it's not just the caffeine in the energy drinks. It's the taurine, the L-carnitine.
I understand that.
The high B vitamins.
But if you break it down just to, it can't have this much caffeine in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you draw the line?
No, I'm saying in general, restrict sales of energy drinks.
Okay. Then you're going to end up restricting the sale of soda. Because somewhere along the line, somebody's going to try to finagle or whatnot and be like, oh, this isn't an energy drink. This is a soda. Because if you're just looking at it for caffeine level or caffeine-wise, what's the difference between a soda and an energy drink? There is none.
There is none, but it's the other ingredients in energy drinks.
We're not talking about the other ingredients. If they're going to do this because of caffeine-wise,
yeah,
then somebody along the lines will be like, well, then you have to ban soda.
Yeah.
Because it has caffeine in it, too.
But
that's what I'm getting at.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like they can't do it just based off caffeine. If they're going to do something like that and ban certain drinks, like not ban them, but like restrict them to 18 and up or whatever, then they need to market it as these ingredients combined in an energy drink is what is causing this ban.
Yeah.
This restriction. And they need to word it that way because, like you said, some Karen, some Kevin is going to be like, well, there's just as much caffeine in soda. Well, yeah, there's just as much caffeine in soda, but do you see taurine in your soda? Do you see L-carnitine in your soda? Do you see 800% of your daily B12 in your soda? No, then shut the fuck up.
I don't even know what B12 does.
B12 is a vitamin that gives a natural boost to energy.
Wow.
They're combining it with taurine and L-carnitine, which is in both of our energy drinks. Gives it a higher reaction to your metabolism, your heart rate, your adrenaline.
Oh, okay.
It makes it bind to the caffeine and the other energy pieces of it.
Mm.
And it's kind of like a binder. It carries it through your body easier.
Okay.
And that's the thing. It's like they need to word it that way, because if they word it just based off of caffeine, yeah, it's gonna cause a huge war.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas, yeah, I'll allow our kids to drink soda. I'll allow them to have an energy drink, whatever, coffee. But I'm not sitting there and being like, here's a 12-pack of energy drinks. Drink it like your soda. Like, no. Like, even our kids have some sense of self-discipline and self-protection, because even our kids won't drink coffee after a certain time at night because they know it wires them.
Yeah.
They won't drink soda. They'll drink soda, but they won't drink, like, most of the time our boys have been getting like root beer, which doesn't have caffeine in it, unless you get Barks, and then yes, it does have caffeine.
Barks doesn't have caffeine.
Yeah, it does.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, like, they won't drink caffeinated beverages after a certain time because of that.
Yeah.
And they have that forethought to be like, this isn't going to be good for my sleep, yada yada. I know I shouldn't drink this, so I'm not going to have any more. They have that self-discipline.
Yeah.
But a lot of these kids have such busy schedules that their parents are like, here, take this. Here, have an energy drink. Or they don't care that they're drinking these energy drinks all the time until something bad happens.
Yeah, and then they want to blame the
energy drink.
Yeah, they want to blame the company that's, doing this.
Like, there's been cases of football players at the high school level that are collapsing and dying of a heart attack or having a heart attack on the field because they've had 3 or 4 Monsters or 3 or 4 Red Bulls or whatever energy drink of your choice.
Yeah.
And then they're going out and playing. They're not drinking any Gatorade. They're not drinking any water. They're not drinking anything but energy drinks and soda before they're playing these games, which already is going to get your heart rate up, in that fat burn zone with exercise and stuff.
And it's going to get your adrenaline up depending on what sport you play.
And that's the thing. It's like, then...
Well, actually, every sport.
And then having all that caffeine and energy, insert whatever energy pieces you have in your energy drinks, like the taurine and so forth.
Yeah.
Like, combining all of those together along with that high intensity sport, regardless of what sport it is, and the competition, and it's becoming a deadly cocktail.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's astounding to me how parents aren't like, yo.
Well, at the base of it and at the core of it, it is a parental issue. Parents aren't wanting to say no to their kids. And this goes back to the last story.
And some of these kids have jobs and they'll just buy it themselves. Let's face it.
And they don't want to be like, the parents nowadays are like, oh, you can let them experiment, let them try this, let them try that, yada, 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 without remembering why they weren't allowed to, or they shouldn't, have done that from when they were kids.
People like that are the reason why our energy drinks have warning labels like, I don't know, pregnant women, children, and those sensitive to caffeine should not drink this drink.
I mean, well, once again, it boils down to you need to parent differently. I'm not going to say better. I'm not going to say that you need to parent a certain way. Parent differently. If you notice that your kid is doing things, or people are coming up to you and telling you that your kid did this or your kid did that, instead of being like, oh, not my child. My child's a perfect angel.
Let me tell you about your perfect angel. Your perfect angel is smoking meth on the street corner with his friends because he thought it was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my biggest issue with parents like that is it couldn't be mine because my kid doesn't do insert whatever, because they're, you know, my kid is above reproach or whatever.
The affluenza comes back again.
Yeah.
No, the thing is like they.
Well, even people who don't have money do it, because it's like my kid wouldn't do this because
My
I
kid doesn't
raised him
behave
better.
like this at home.
Bullshit.
My kid doesn't behave like this at home, so surely they're not behaving like this at school.
Okay, being at home and being out in public, two different faces.
I know if I behaved like that in public, I'd get my ass beat.
Sometimes three different faces, or four or more. Because it's all dependent on who they're around in public and what situation. Anyways, stop being dumb.
Yeah, seriously. Do we want to do one more?
We got time for one more.
One more? Okay. So this is one that hits close to home for us because we're dealing with it right now.
Another one that hits close to home for us?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Pipes still a concern as the metro area thaws.
Yeah.
If any of y'all didn't know, the metro area, a.k.a. the Denver metro area, a.k.a. the cities around Denver,
this last week,
we were a frozen tundra of bullshit.
Yeah, like
-4 with a -30 wind chill. I mean, we were in a deep freeze.
This past week, it was like this
Fogging
is coming from
cold.
me. This is coming from me, and those who know me know this. And
he
those
likes
who don't
the
know
cold.
me,
He likes the snow.
I love the cold. I love the snow. I don't like the wind. The wind can fuck off.
This kind of cold can go fuck right off.
But when it's single-digit temperatures for a week, and there's a negative wind chill for a week,
but
that's some bullshit.
Denver endured 93 hours below freezing. The frigid weather caused many pipes and homes and commercial businesses to freeze.
Like our personal business or our business that we work at.
The hospital. We had to do what's called fire watch, a.k.a. the pipes froze and broke and damaged the fire suppression system in a certain part of the hospital. And there was no fire suppression system in said part of the hospital.
So we had to make sure that we were
every 15 minutes walking around the same hallways over and over again just to make sure that nothing froze. And when we had a lovely other part of our company,
when we had a sitter,
basically a sitter, doing said fire watch,
because another sitter refused to,
and was put up to the floor, and this guy was like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. That's not a problem. He forgot to check the stairwells, and one of the stairwells was flooded.
Oops.
Yeah, the stairwell behind the...
Well, I mean, there's one thing. That stairwell ain't going to catch on fire.
Huh.
Anyways.
But no,
it was really fucking cold. And one of the biggest things that comes with the cold is if you have pipes with water in it that isn't moving, it's gonna tend to freeze. And trying to operate a pipe by itself can be kind of tricky because there's a lot of water pressure built up in there. But when it becomes frozen, any bit of free pipe space is restricted, which takes that water pressure and cranks it to an 11. Which can cause the pipe to break because it's not designed to handle that much pressure.
So get this. Families First at Shiloh House.
Okay.
You should recognize that name because that's where we get some of the troubled teens. Is one of those properties that was dealing with frozen pipes on Tuesday morning. The organization works to prevent abuse and neglect in children by providing education and family support. Their maintenance worker, Nolan Smith, walked in on Tuesday morning to find no water coming out of any of the faucets. That was my first hint we might be in trouble, he said. There's a heater pointing at the pipes. Pipes are wrapped in insulation, and they still froze. Yep. So for many plumbing companies, the thaw after the extensive time of sub-zero temperatures is where the real work begins. So basically, they are having trouble everywhere here in Colorado with these pipes freezing. It's not just restricted to like big businesses, small businesses. No, it's
just restricted to the Denver metro area either.
No.
I mean, there are
That's why they
cities.
say during a freeze like that, you're supposed to leave your faucets like a slow drizzle.
Yeah.
because it keeps the water flowing instead of allowing it to freeze by
Yeah.
settling. And that's the thing. Is
Have
like
you ever seen rapids
Mhm.
in nature
Mhm.
freeze?
Nope.
No. Have you ever seen a waterfall freeze?
No.
Have you seen a pond freeze?
Yes.
That's because that water ain't fucking moving.
And I've seen waterfalls partially freeze.
Partially, but not fully.
No, the
There
top part.
The part
freezes.
where there's stagnant water or the water is moving so extremely slow freezes. Yeah.
But no.
The part that there's a lot of water, there's water moving at a
But
increased rate of speed, does not freeze over.
But that leads to another issue. All these plumbers that we have in this area. Let's talk about our Denver metro area. All the
They are
plumbers,
making bank right about now.
they are making bank right amount now. They are so extremely busy that they're having to turn off their ringers to their phones because they are working 18-hour days.
Yeah, which is
Like-
illegal, I believe.
Yes.
DOT standards, you're only allowed to be on the road for 11 hours.
But
straight.
the thing is like people are so desperate and their homes are flooding because of these burst pipes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, knock on wood.
Don't you? No, don't. Because the last time you said something like this, and even with the knock on wood part, bad happened. Don't. No, don't.
I'm talking
Shut
about
your
the
face.
hospital.
Shut your face.
We'd get
Shut
we
your
wouldn't
face.
get
Shut
days
it.
off though.
Shut it. Shut it. Shut it.
Okay, I won't say it.
Thank you.
If something was to happen,
And you say it anyways.
we would still be stuck at work. We'd just be bored out of our fucking mind.
We would be patrolling an empty hospital.
Yep. Security has to be on scene at all times,
Because
regardless.
there's drugs. And other
Exactly.
expensive equipment. No
exactly.
shit. I know exactly what I would do. This bitch behind me, my laptop, would be coming with me, and I'd be parked in front of several, or I would be in an area where I could keep an eye on medical equipment and drugs,
Mm-hmm.
and I would be watching, I'd be on my computer while I'm watching.
Yep. I'd be parked right out front of the pharmacy.
I would park myself. I would have me parked in front of one set of doors, somebody else parked instead of another set of doors, and if there was a third way of getting in there, another person parked in front of that set of doors. So that way, anybody comes up the hallway, we can be like, no matter what fucking hallway.
What do you think happened to Porter? Like when all those nurses from Porter were coming over,
Yeah,
they
their
had to
boiler
get
went out.
their boiler went out because something happened to one of the pipes, one of the mains. And so their boiler went out, which caused their heater to not work, which caused their water to not work. So they had no running water, no heat inside the hospital the first snowfall.
Yeah, I would make sure every door was locked. Everywhere, every door was locked. Ain't nobody coming in without us opening said door. And if there's any fucking problem with it, I got 2 axe cheese and a sphincter you can kiss.
And tongue punch my fart box.
Pretty much.
But no, it's just crazy how, like, more people don't utilize. I mean, granted, in the hospital, we can't do that because, let's face it, having faucets running, they're automatic faucets. They're not going to run. Most of them are. But, like, stuff like fire suppression systems blowing and their pipes bursting because they're meant to be stagnant until needed, and then they burst, and but it's like you would think that somebody would think of a way to keep these pipes from freezing. That's all
there
I'm
is a
gonna
way.
say.
It just costs money.
I mean, that and the fact that people can't drink rubbing alcohol, because if you add rubbing alcohol to water, it doesn't freeze.
I'm not talking about that part. Anyways,
I think that's it.
That is a very good point to stop. Thank y'all so much for listening. Thank you for sticking with us for 50 episodes. Holy shit. Once again, I cannot express the amount of gratitude that I have toward those people who have stuck around and have continued to listen to us for 50 episodes.
Sorry, thanks, Dad. You got offended the last time I called you Mike.
Those first episodes that we did were fucking rough.
Rough. The audio.
Oh my God. Like, I tried listening to them the other day.
I apologize for the audio last week. We were having some technical difficulties.
But thank you. thank y'all so much for listening to our 50th episode, and let's go for more. I can't think right now because I am super tired.
Numbers.
Anyways, but thank y'all so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. If you want to show some support, there's a couple different ways. First and easiest way is to download this episode on Spotify if you're listening to us on Spotify. It lets them know, like, hey, we want to hear more. We like what we're hearing. We want to hear more of what these people are having to say. And so, you can do it that way. We do have a link in our description. If you want to donate to the show, you don't have to. It is appreciated, and it lets us know directly, hey, we like what we're hearing. We want some more of this.
One final statement from me. Sorry for interrupting. I officially hate your parents right now. 30 degrees this week to 80 next week. Mother Nature's really drunk. She needs to go home. Take me with you.
As always, thank y'all so much for listening. We do appreciate it. Don't forget to love each other. And really, as always,
don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Bye, guys.
Bye.